So Robert,
Yeah.
can you foresee what today's episode is about?
Oh, I get it. It's a good wall.
So today we are talking about spheres.
Right on.
What a great three-dimensional shape.
Top 3, honestly. So this is a giant quartz sphere. It's as big as your head. One very obvious thing right off the bat is this dramatic split right down the middle in color zones.
Yeah.
This is not two halves glued together. This is one solid piece of quartz that just naturally had just a planar division right down the middle of it.
Probably one of its cleavage planes. I mean, you could maybe say it's a fracture just across the whole thing, but it's so flat.
It's very flat, very straight, very uniform. But another very obvious feature is this big cloud inclusion.
Dark inclusion.
The thing is, we don't know what it is on the inside. It's very, very dark in color.
Some potential guesses could either be schorl, tourmaline, which is one of the common inclusions in quartz, but also potentially hollandite because it's very thin and spiky, but it's normally not as large as this giant inclusion is.
Yeah, it's very big and it's very fuzzy looking. So it doesn't come out of the ground like this, right?
Oh, absolutely not. There is botryoidal, I will say, but not like spheroidal.
Orbal. So what they do in order to produce this very smooth, round sphere shape, you take in this case, a very large crystal, an exceptionally large crystal, and try and facet like a cube out of it. And then you can lop off the corners of the cube, take off some of the sides, the edges rather.
Yeah.
And that leaves you with an octadecagon. Then once you've got your octadecagon, then you take it and you put it in this special grinder with silicon carbide wheels, and that will grind away any high spots. So then you're left with a bumpy sphere. And lastly, it gets put into a special lapidary machine called a sphere machine. And the sphere machine makes your bumpy sphere into a very smooth sphere. Lastly, it's polished because you want it to have that shine and that reflectiveness. I love this side because it's a little bit clearer and you can really see all these floating fractures that cause light interference, iridescence and stuff in those patches.
So this sphere came from our friend Darlene from the Earth's Core Gem Store, and I heard that she's given us a lot of really cool, unique spheres that we're going to be looking at today.
Let's get to it. Inside this cube is a sphere.
And a good sphere.
Whoa.
Oh, okay.
That kind of did something when you pulled it out.
So this piece is actually very, very cool because there's, I think, at least 2 optical effects that are going on in here. And some of the more brownish orange areas of this sphere, there's a lot of copper platelets in these areas. And then kind of in the darkish blue-gray area of the sphere is kind of this cloudy reflecting of light that's coming out. And that is from layers of alternating types of feldspar. So this awesome sphere is a combination of both Sunstone and Moonstone.
That's too cool.
Got the whole
thematically
day and night cycle
so
of the
cool.
sphere.
Which means that you have 2 different optical phenomena, one for each stone. So the Sunstone shows aventurescence and the Moonstone agularescence. And when you rotate the sphere, you can see the copper platelets in the Sunstone and the mix of feldspars in the Moonstone that create these 2 distinct optical effects.
So the aventurescence comes from platelet inclusions that could either be copper or hematite or goethite. It's just the light reflecting off of them to create this lovely effect.
For the agularescence, you get these layers within the stone that interfere with the light and scatter it, causing this moonlight on the surface of water sort of effect. But you see both in one sphere. That's totally awesome. Get that lid off of there. Oh,
that is hefty.
It's got heft. Ooh.
That is some heft. Oh.
You got it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh.
You can see right into it.
There's a lot going on here.
What we're looking at here is a pocket of a mineral known as pink amethyst.
If you're thinking to yourself, pink amethyst, that's not true. Yeah. Amethyst is purple.
And pink quartz is rose quartz. So what on earth is pink amethyst? It's this sort of in-between mineral. So it's got the presence of iron as well as irradiation, which is what gives amethyst that purple color. But it also has iron in the form of hematite, which gives it a little pinkish color. It's not rose quartz. It's not purple, so it's pink amethyst. But it's a really cool sphere because it's got these dope little pockets where you can kind of peer into. When you look really close, you can definitely tell that these are like terminated quartz crystals on the inside.
Yeah. Let's put this on a stand and let's get to the next box. I'll get you a box.
Okay, this better have a sphere inside this cube.
Unless.
Oh, yes. Great box.
Ooh. So from just observing the optical effect and the colors in this is Labradorite.
This is definitely Labradorite. This here is Labradorescence because it's named after the mineral itself, Labradorite.
And the effect for Labradorite is caused by the twinning layers of the feldspar and light reflecting back.
You get a little bit, well, I'll say a lot more color out of Labradorescence than the eventurescence of Moonstone.
100%, and that's because of the twinning. Since Moonstone and Labradorite kind of have like the same base as they're both sodium feldspars, with Labradorite and the Labradorescence is that the light is kind of refracting back a lot of the different layers within the Labradorite, shallow versus deep within the stone, and you can see a lot of the interference colors as well coming back, which is why you see like blues, a little bit yellow, some greens kind of within. Very
cool sphere, for sure.
100%.
I love the Labradorescence. This one's got a sphere in it.
Wow, a sphere!
Whoa, I like it.
That is a nice color.
That's it. It's lighter. Looks like we might be able to get some light through it. You wanna?
Oh yeah.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Ooh. Oh. Check that out. Nice. Dude,
Ooh.
Get a lot of light in this thing.
You see those layers over there?
I do. Oh, yeah. I do.
Oh.
Check that out.
Wow.
I saw some color banding in there, and based on the color, I believe that this is a nice sphere of fluorite, which is really cool. I haven't seen too many fluorite spheres, and that is probably due to the fact that one, fluorite is a 4 on the Mohs scale. Oh. It's its Achilles heel, is that it is almost soft enough to scratch with your fingernail.
Honestly, it has 2 Achilles heels. Well, that it has perfect cleavage.
Right.
And that it can, very easily cleave. So the fact that this fluorite is in a nice sphere like this must have taken a very long and slow time.
Improbable.
You don't really see a lot of fluorite spheres at all.
No. The cleavage planes are in 4 directions, right? There's 4 directions, 4 planes of perfect cleavage, which means that when you put it in your little tumble jostler, it just wants to break in 4 different directions really nicely. One of my favorite things about fluorite is that you could really collect it endlessly because it comes in every color available. Because fluorite is an allochromatic gemstone, which we've talked about that before on the show. An allochromatic gemstone is a gemstone where its chemical formula does not contain any element, gives it color.
Yes.
So a pure allochromatic gemstone is colorless. It can be colored by impurities, trace elements, irradiation, any number of things.
There's one other way that fluorite can be colored, and that's defects in the fluorite known as color centers.
You ready?
Yeah.
All right.
For another one.
Ball out.
Oh. Without thinking about what this sphere is, it kind of reminded me of the golden snitch in Harry Potter.
Oh, yeah.
This looks a lot like quartz. And from the color, there's really only one conclusion we could go to for a yellow quartz.
I'm with you.
And that would be citrine.
Citrine. Yeah, no, this one's really cool because it is loaded with fractures. What that causes is a bunch of patches of iridescence and lots of rainbow flashes within this golden
Instead
stone.
of just this particular sphere has bigger ones.
Yeah.
And that allows for a bigger patch of the iridescence to be seen instead of like small throughout. It is possible to have natural citrine. That is very rare because in order for citrine to be citrine, it's technically amethyst first, and then it becomes heated. So when it's naturally heated, the colors you'll typically see, I would probably say a little bit more duller compared to citrines that you see on the market that are treated. They're heat treated.
Right.
Oh.
Whoa, check it out. Whoa, with the light on it, it's even cooler. Very clear. Very clear. But really super fine needle inclusions in this thing. They're very long. They go like at pole to pole, some of them. I mean, I'm gonna take a stab and say that these are rutile on the inside. Usually you see them en masse, like just abundant. A ton of them. But these, there are a bunch, but they're separated and they're spread out. It's a really awesome effect on the inside of this stone. So rutile is metallic. It's titanium dioxide, which means that I really want to light this guy up too, because I want to see those metal flashes.
Oh. I can.
That is beautiful.
Some of the reflections
are
gold. Yeah.
That's so cool.
It's spectacular.
I love getting to appreciate the individual rutile. You ready for another box with, no. Let's keep it going.
You would fuck with that. Ooh, we got some color combinations. Got whites, some dark greens, a little bit of grays, but also some bits of yellow.
Kind of looking like the globe right now. If any of you at home are looking at this stone and thinking, oh, that looks like agate, or something like that with the banding, you're not wrong, technically. This is something called ocean jasper, but it's not actually a jasper. It's technically an agate or a chalcedony. It only comes from northern Madagascar. It comes from one place, this ocean jasper material. And the colors come from a variety of different minerals. The browns can be goethite.
And I believe the yellows and grays are from clay.
If there are any red spots on this, those would be hematite.
And those thin sections for agate, the microcrystals of quartz is more fibrous instead of granular for like jasper and whatnot.
Oh, this is heavy. Oh, Robert's not ready either. What? Elbow.
Oh. Ooh,
what is going on here? Oh my God, it's a dinosaur egg. Wow. Look at this guy. Oh my God. It really does look like it. I mean, if if Disney was making a dinosaur movie and they needed to have something to hatch out of.
Reference images.
I make it look like this, man.
So this is has been polished into the shape of an egg. Most commonly, you might know this as a Septarian egg. Septarian eggs are normally polished to look like eggs because of the way the concretion is formed. It just looks better as an egg shape. They're also known as dragon eggs. Septarian eggs are made up of aragonite, calcite, and limestone. And for the limestone component, it involves water and dead sea life, which is kind of what makes a good majority of limestone. With calcite and aragonite, they combined and kind of like solidified together. They formed these really big cracks that you see along this concretion.
So on the inside here, we can see that there are some small colorless crystals. Those are calcite crystals on the inside. But then if you get in real close, you notice that the interior wall is not totally smooth. It is like millions and millions of little tiny spikes, which are also calcite, but a different formation and a different color.
Even though this concretion or geode was probably a different shape, we couldn't resist wanting to look at some egg shapes.
All right, one more, another one.
Another one.
That is an egg.
That's
a whole egg. It's even white.
It's a whole white egg. I know what this egg is.
Yeah, this is selenite.
There we go.
Yeah.
Which is kind of like a more like crystalline variety of gypsum. Very soft. It's too
Selenite is known for these long, slender fibers, which create that flash effect that travels along the fiber when you rotate it.
So Selenite's name comes from the Greek goddess Selene because of the visual appearance. Kind of looks like the moon a little bit.
Are you ready for another box?
Aye, aye, Captain.
Wait. Cool.
Very uniquely polished egg.
Oh, I like this guy.
There's both amethyst and also some crystal quartz and the matrix.
Yeah, that's super cool.
If you look like deep into the hole of this amethyst cavern, at the very back, you see some more crystal quartz, and it's actually this seam in the back that you can see.
I love the color contrast between the colorless quartz and the brown matrix. And then just that gash of amethyst in the middle. Oh, no way! Are you kidding me?
Oh, I know you'll have a delight. Here, you can have this one.
This is unbelievable. Okay, so this is a soapstone carving. The outside is one layer. Then there is another free-moving layer on the inside.
And
a third piece on the inside. This is a piece of art right here. This is skill. Ancient cultures have been carving soapstone since the 5th millennia BC.
The majority of soapstone's chemical composition is made out of talc, and that can range anywhere from about like 30% to about like 80% of talc.
There's no set hardness for soapstone.
Yes, there's no set.
It's too variable.
Yeah, exactly. But it is very easy to carve. An additional unique fact about soapstone is that is also heat resistant. One of those cultures were Vikings. They used soapstone to make like bowls and cooking materials out of, just because of the heat properties of soapstone. So we've had a lot of amazing spheres and eggs today from Darlene, but we also wanted to show you guys a couple spheres of our own. Rob has some, but I also have a sphere that I don't think anyone has seen yet. So you guys ready for our spheres? This is a Sodalite sphere, which is pretty cool since Sodalite's crystal system is isometric, so it's actually a cube. It grows, but not today.
You gotta knock off the corners, some of the edges, and toss it in the sphere machine.
The sphere machine. What was really neat about this piece was mostly just the color, as well as the varying fractures that go across the stone.
So I have two. This one is Tiger's Eye. So it's super dramatic here, but what I really like about the stone, this pole over here, you can see the yellow of it when you're like not looking directly at it, but as soon as you try and look right at it, it just kind of disappears.
A little bit, yeah, it does disappear a little bit.
And then this one is a ruby zoisite sphere. And this ruby half is extremely fluorescent.
So we have all of these spheres out now, and I think it's time to take a closer look.
I agree. I like the soapstone. Right. I like the soapstone for sure.
The soapstone is pretty good.
I think the carving is very intricate, and I think if you get a closer look at this, you'll be able to see the internal, and I mean 2 layers deep, internal carving of this little piece of art.
I think the Sunstone and the Moonstone would be a great closer
strong pick.
Because this isn't something that you're going to see very often, like together. So I think you guys should take a closer look. today has been such an awesome episode. I've loved looking at all of these spheres, and thank you so much, Darlene, for letting us borrow and like showcase your spheres. They are absolutely amazing. And if you guys liked Darlene's spheres, we're going to put a link down below in the description if you guys want to check her out.
Don't drop the ball. Like, subscribe, and of course ring the bell so you don't miss out on future videos. Thanks for watching.